الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله ما توفيقي ولا ثقتي إلا بالله عليه توكلت وإليه أنيب حسبي الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير وأشهد أن سيدنا وإمامنا وقائدنا محمدًا عبده ورسوله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وجاهد في الله حق جهاده حتى أتاه اليقين من ربه تبارك وتعالى ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا قال تعالى يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا أحبتي في الله أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله وطاعته ولزوم أوامره وكثرة مخافته فإن التقوى شعار المؤمنين ودثار الصالحين ووصية الله في وفيكم أجمعين أما بعد قال تعالى في سورة آل عمران واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. Our khutbah today is about the search for unity amongst Muslims. For more than 4 years ago, when I first came to Cranfield University, our Islamic society was actively trying to promote a union of all Muslim groups and gathers all the Muslims from all the countries in the world. No differences between the Arabs and non-Arabs, and no differences between all the ethnicities. The most important purpose is we are all brothers in Islam, and the call then was and always be the same as today. We need to be united. Today, whenever we Muslims discuss our problems, we touch on many things. For example, the situations in the countries in the Middle East like Palestine, Iraq, Syria, and all the other Islamic countries that suffers in any way. The other thing, for example, the weakness of our Muslim governments, or the arrogance of the West, or for example, the scheming of the Zionists. Whatever the topic of the day, the one issue we never miss, implicitly and explicitly, is the lack of Muslims' unity. If you travel the world from the east to the west, you will find that Muslims everywhere still share the same common concern. If only we had unity. The population of Muslims as 2017 is around 1.6 billion followers. Islam is considered to be the world's fastest growing religion. Muslims are the majority in this wave of countries, from Morocco to Indonesia and from Turkey to Sudan. Our Muslim lead cover a strategic area of the world's oil and mineral resources as well as major trade routes. There are a significant Muslim minority in most countries, and there is hardly a place in the planet where Islam do not have a presence. We have no shortage of numbers. Often our numbers far exceeds that the other religion minorities, for example, like Jews and Hindus and etc. But when you consider our influence of the world on the world affairs today, it is unfortunately very small. Never mind, for example, world affairs, we could just see our influence in the national life in Britain here, or even our local neighborhoods are almost negligible. At every level, Muslims are aware of this, and we are calling for unity. في سورة آل عمران, and the verse 103, and as translation to the verse that I opened my khutbah with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "And hold fast all together by the rope which Allah stretched out for you, and be not divided among yourselves. And remember the gratitude Allah's favor on you, for you were enemies and He joined your hearts in love, and that by His grace you became brethren." We Muslims are responsibly well aware of our history, but how much have we learned from it? This surah and this verse particularly reminds us how our beloved Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam united the tribes of Arabia, whom the Romans and Persians considered so wild, warlike and backward, that they were unworthy of conquest. He molded them into a nation of supermen. When we Muslims served Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and subdued our vanity, we became masters of the world. We swept over North Africa, across Spain and southern France, and eastward to China. Then we argued amongst ourselves over who gets what. As soon as we started indulging our vanity and forgetting Allah, we lost everything. This happened over many centuries. Although our numbers increased, our influence on the world affairs declined. Today, we are divided into dozens and into nation states, and within those divisions we have further divisions of mutuality hostile and exclusive groups. Some of these groups don't even talk to each other, let alone seek common grounds. It seems that per capita, Muslims communities must have more organizations per head of population than in any other religion. Sometimes, one said that if you find two Muslims with a typewriter, you'll probably found another international Islamic organization. We have a fragmented and disunited ummah, and ummah that seems to be at odds with itself. How can we start to put things right? قال تعالى في سورة الحجرات in the verse 13, "O mankind, we created you from a single pair of male and female, and made you into nations and tribes, that you may know each other. Verily, the most honored of you is the sight of Allah, is the most righteous of you, and Allah has full knowledge and is well acquainted." The principle of Tawheed, which is the Islam's essential doctrine of unity, underpins the great diversity of all creatures. Within every species, there is a tremendous variety. In nature, for example, differences are not a sign of weakness, but a celebration of Allah's creativity, something for us to admire and enjoy with a sense of wonder and excitement. The variety and diversity we find in the ocean, for example, on the land and in the air, are also apparent in our human behavior. We must not see our human differences as a curse, rather it's a blessing. Each and every one of us has gathered a wealth of experience from different geographical, social, and cultural influences. When we all share our experience freely, there is a collective enrichment for everyone. We must therefore not be impatient with one another. We often hear the complaint of Muslims are not united. But what do we mean by unity? Do we mean that there should be no differences of opinion? Of course not. Unity does not mean uniformity. We do not have to look the same, speak the same, dress the same, and share each and every opinion unanimously. This is not only unnatural, it's humanly impossible. Can you imagine it? Life would be so boring. There are two kinds of unity, which we must try to understand and distinguish clearly. There is a unity of purpose and the unity of opinion. As Muslims, we should always be united in our purpose, which by means is seeking to please Allah and serving the advancement of Islam. But we must not be distressed by minor differences of opinion. It's humanly impossible, as I said, to always have unity of opinion. As long as we keep our purpose clearly in view, there can be many opinions as to the best way of achieving our goals. By mutual consolation, sharing our knowledge and experiences, we can move forward. If we must disagree on some matters, let us remember the right way to disagree. In a debate, a Muslim attitude should always be like this: I think I'm right, but I might be wrong. And I think you're wrong, but you may be right. If we kept this attitude in all of our dealings with one another, no one risks humiliation or hard feelings in any disagreement. We can debate and disagree in a most agreeable manner. We'll always maintain mutual respect and dignity. There are the building blocks of real lasting unity. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا كما أمر وأشكره وهو الكفيل بالزيادة لمن شكر وأصلي وأسلم على إمام ربيعة ومضر إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. There is a saying that the longest journey is from the head to the heart. We know, of course, that physically only a few inches separate the head from the heart. But emotionally and psychologically, it could be many miles or measured in time. Trying to connect head to the heart could take months, years, or even forever. The journey from the head to the heart is a long and difficult journey. It's a journey from what we think and say to what we really believe and do. From the world of thought and speech to the world of action, of commitment. We must shorten that journey if you want to develop the healthy, well-rounded personality of the ideal Muslim. There is a clear and unmistakable link between our inner world and the outer outside. Look at any family or community and you can find and read all the contents of the head, heart and souls of all of its members. Muslim unity is not some miracle that one day will suddenly fall from the sky. Muslim unity that unity of the whole ummah will be the reward for much effort and a culmination of a longer process that begins with the individual Muslim, and I mean you and me. We must start that process. We must seek to unite our own mind, bodies, and spirits. We must not say one thing and do the opposite. Our goal must be a unity of through the feeling, word, and action. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في سورة الرعد في الآية 11: إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Verily, never will Allah change the condition of a people until they change what is within themselves. In another word, what is within their hearts and souls. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam was the most perfect of an example. Even his enemies acknowledge that he was always honest, truthful, and sincere. There was no contradiction between his head and his heart. His thoughts, feelings, words, and actions were of the same substance. There was never even a slightest trace of arrogance, hypocrisy, vanity, or conceit in his personality. This was the role model of a person, of a personal character, on which the unity of the first Muslim in the Ummah was based, and we need it today as well. قال تعالى في سورة الأنبياء في الآية 92 وفي سورة المؤمنون في الآية 23: إن هذه أمتكم أمة واحدة وأنا ربكم فاعبدون. Verily, this nation is yours as a single nation, and I'm your Lord and cherisher, therefore serve me and no other. This nation and brotherhood of Muslims will only be as strong as we individual Muslims are strong. We are taught that the best jihad is the jihad against one's ego, jihad al-nafs. We need to tame this beast within our breasts. Our pride, which is our pride, this beast is our pride. We must learn to submit our will, our ego, our vanity to the will of our Creator, just like our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us. When and only when we have made a start of this greatest journey will we earn the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we earn Allah's pleasure, we find that we can easily tolerate differences of opinion without getting angry or abusive. We will then begin to see the unity of purpose that underpins the wide diversity of Allah's creation. We will see the good things that binds us together without being distracted of a petty and the pretty things that divides us. By keeping our ego under control, by cleansing our hearts and all the vanity and false pride, we actually make room for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divine wisdom, which must follow if we are sincere in our quest for knowledge and an understanding. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث القدسي, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us directly, I am as my servant thinks I am. I am with him when he makes mention of me. If he makes mention of me to himself, I make mention of him to myself. And if he makes mention of me in an assembly, I make mention of him in an assembly even better than that. And if he takes one step toward me, I take 10 steps toward him. And if he comes walking to me, I go running toward him. What a beautiful and graphic descriptions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can conclude and finish our khutbah today. This hadith shows the love and affection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards us as his servants. And all he wants is for us to take that crucial first step. And I'm sure that each and every one of us here would like to be amongst those towards whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes running in speed. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا مبتلا إلا عافيته ولا عسيرا إلا يسرته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا أعنتنا على قضائها ويسرتها برحمتك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. اللهم لا تفرق جمعنا هذا إلا بذنب مغفور وسعي مشكور وعمل صالح متقبل مبرور برحمتك يا عزيز يا غفور. عباد الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقم الصلاة.